Welcome to Tech Talk, the live recorded session where Warp World digs deep into the technical aspects of our services and products. This episode, Jakku will be joined by Grand Pooh Bear and Xwater to talk about 1UpCoin, the cryptocurrency donation platform for streamers on YouTube and Twitch.
Welcome everyone to the first Warp World Tech Talk. I'm Jakku with David, Grand Pooh Bear Hunt, and Mickey Xwater, whatever.
We're going with real names.
we're I was reading the page,
official.
But yeah, it's official. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name though, Xwater. As professional as this is, why don't you?
You can just call me Mr. L. Yeah,
Mr. L. Oh, like Paper Mario.
Exactly.
But yeah, so this is actually the first Tech Talk. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that we've been talking about behind the scenes, and we felt that this was a pretty good time to actually do one, especially about what the topic this week, which is 1UpCoin and cryptocurrencies. They've obviously been hot recently and whatnot, but since this is our first one and you might not know who I am or some of the others on here, we're gonna do some introductions, and I'll start with myself because why not? So I'm Matthew Jakubowski, also known as Jakku, CEO and founder of Warp World. I'm one of the lead developers behind a lot of our products and services. If you've used Turnip Exchange or our multi-queue, you're welcome. 1UpCoin, it's also something that I worked on, and crowd control. Those are the big services that we offer and have been something that we've been passionate about for the last 4 or 5 years on. I actually end up having a huge background in information security. I've been in that area for 15 plus years. I've done work for Fortune 10 companies all the way up, 10 to 500, wherever. I've got a broad set of skills in that area, and it's been a passion of mine. But in the last few years, I've transitioned over to running Warp World and, being a CEO and a little bit of a developer. Ross, you didn't remind me. Anyways, what's a live presentation without some glitches? But yeah, I created Warp World in 2015. Just made it for a simple queue system for Mario Maker, and it's actually how I found both Grand Pooh Bear and Xwater. After running that for about a year, I actually was able to get Twitch partner status, which was pretty awesome. And now I'm playing games like Rust, Raft, Rift, and Rune. And the fun fact about me, we're gonna have a fun fact for everyone, is I once flew to Hong Kong on an 8-hour notice and only spent about 16 to 20 hours on the ground there before flying back home. It was a nice little weekend trip. It only cost about $300. It was one of those mistake fares. And I'm going to throw it over to Grand Pooh Bear.
Yeah, hi, I'm Grand Pooh Bear. I've been streaming on the platform since 2013. I became partnered in 2015, mostly for playing Super Mario Maker. And I've been speedrunning for a long time now. I've done multiple GDQ runs, done lots of other charity events, including our own. Hosted many different events, including speedrun sessions, which is a live touring speedrun event. I am a Red Bull athlete. I play a lot of Kaizo ROM hacks, a lot of Rust, Splunky, Among Us. I got GTA roleplay coming up. I'm going to be playing Jump King till the end of my life. At this rate, the DLC. So yeah, that's what it is. And a fun fact about me, I did not wear pants the entire 2020. All shorts all the time, baby. That'll be more relevant after Xwater goes, just for the record.
Yeah. I feel like that's almost as impressive as mine. But I'm Xwater, or Mickey Luljurovic, for those of you wondering how that's pronounced. I am a partnered streamer since 2017. I've been streaming since 2015. Started out with, kind of more focused on variety than speedrunning, but never sacrificing top tier skill and competitive gameplay. I've joined Warp World in around 2016 when Mario Maker and the multi-queue, at that point, just Warp World was the queue system when that was happening. And since then, been a part of this awesome team. We've done so many incredible things together. And I remember, actually, I've been on the Warp World podcast since 2018. I got a call when I was laying in bed hungover after a birthday of mine, and I got a call from Pooh and Jakku. They're like, "You want to join us as a host?" I'm like for the week? They're like, "No, like for real." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Forever.
Yeah, and my
Forever.
fun fact is that I went the entire year of 2019 without ever wearing a t-shirt. Muscle shirts are fine, long sleeve shirts are fine, no t-shirts. And that's me. That's everything you need to know about me.
So yeah, we got a lot of people, doing challenges with clothes. It sounds like. I actually, until just recently, in the last few days, I hadn't worn jeans all of 2021. I've been wearing like very comfortable pants, and I only had jeans on the other day because I was going out to the stores. But
You had to
it's
look
interesting.
professional. Yeah,
I had to look a
that's
little
the
bit more
professional
professional, a
look.
little more, yeah. But yeah, no. So before we get into what is tech talk, I was actually thinking about it the other day. Like, it was before 1UpCoin and really before crowd control. Like, it was only like 4 of us. It was kind of crazy. Like Grand Pooh Bear, you came on fairly early on, and we had so many discussions, and we had so many other people we talked with in the communities and stuff. And then like Xwater joined the team, and Ross, who's actually running the show behind the scenes right now, they reached out, and like it was a team of like 4 of us, and we've grown
For a
quite a
while.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, for a long
so,
time, and it is kind of crazy to see this now.
Yeah. And like 1UpCoin, when it was built, it was only the 4 of us. There was nobody else. So it was kind of crazy thing about it. But so yeah, what is Tech Talk? So what Tech Talk is, it's gonna be kind of a new bi-weekly show. We should have enough topics for twice a month. Where we're gonna do a semi-deep dive into some of the services that we offer over at Warp World. And so, it's going to go over what the service is, what our goals or philosophies around the service is, why we built it, how we did, what challenges we might have faced, what the problem is that the service has, and, anything that we might feel like we're going to work on in the future, things that we've tried and failed on. We're going to give you a lot of information that, people have been asking about in some of our services, and just kind of give you an idea of what behind the scenes running a company like this and building services like this is like. And for those that want to get a little bit more technical, we might talk about some of the APIs and stuff and things that we have exposed or use. And then we're obviously do a general Q&A at the end of the stream. And so anyone can actually do questions now, and it will go into our multi-queue, which is a very versatile piece of software. But exclamation point ask and your question, and it will get added to our queue. And so with that, we're just going to go right into it, and we're going to talk about 1UpCoin. So what is 1UpCoin? It's a free to use cryptocurrency donation platform that is tailored for Twitch streamers. YouTubers are also free to use it. We link your Coinbase account, which is one of the major well-known cryptocurrency exchange platforms in the world, and you can then link your Stream Elements or your Streamlabs account so that when a donation comes in, you get a donation alert, just as if it was a PayPal donation or anything like that. We started with support with 3 coins because that's what Coinbase supported. And now we practically support all the coins that Coinbase has, with a few exceptions. And I can get into those technical details during the technical portion. But overall, no one's complained about that, which is good. And so, that's what it is and what our goals were. And I'm going to definitely lean on Pooh and Xwater with this a little bit because they are the streamers. These are like, I'm a streamer, but these guys, this is what they do every day. And so
we're the target audience.
Yeah, you're the target audience. I'm the idea builder, and we want to make sure that we build things that make sense for you guys. And so, simple goals. Super goal. Easy goal number 1, make it easy for streamers to receive and for donators to send. Shouldn't have any issue with that. I think everyone can agree with that. That makes sense. We wanted to fill a market that no solution existed. It was late 2017 when we launched, and there was a few solutions out there that had what was either tied to a single streamer or just didn't meet the criteria. It was super complicated. And then, we want to make it easy for streamers to adopt this service because it makes cryptocurrency more usable in general. And then obviously, one of the big challenges that you guys probably face is chargebacks.
Mm-hmm.
And so cryptocurrency solves that problem.
Doesn't have that problem. Yeah, it doesn't have that problem.
Can't charge that back.
Yeah, it's and especially at the time 2017 when it came out, it was also like exciting, you know what I mean? And it was just exciting to be a part of at that moment. and to see people. That was kind of my first experience with people actually spending crypto on something, you know what I mean? Like for me actually seeing it, and they were spending it on our streams, which was super cool to see, and has been cool over the years, you know?
Yeah. It was really interesting that, like, because it was at the same time as that boom that was happening there. So not only was it like it was already, it's been around for 5 years, crypto at that point, but people were getting excited about it, and it was almost as if it brought like cryptocurrency to a more to people's attention more in the streaming world. And it was really cool seeing it getting like a tip, like a $10 tip, but then seeing that it went up to $11 the next day, $12 the next day, or seeing if it dipped down to 8 or 9. And it was like this really fun twist on it. And yeah, it was really cool. I think having the multiple currencies supported from the get-go too is what really just made 1UpCoin special.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was fun seeing those changes, and like, you know, some people might be like, oh, I wish it was 10. Like, oh no, I got $10 yesterday, now it's $8. Like, that's not good. But at the same time, like, it could go up, like you said. And like a lot of streamers I know were not necessarily in the crypto space, but they didn't want to miss this train, and it was a no cost way to get on this train and test the waters. 1UpCoin to date is 100% free for anyone to sign up and use. There are no fees on our end. But you know,
yeah, that's another really nice part of it too, is like it just it goes to us, you know, we're not dealing with anyone else. It's not even it's even kind of easier than PayPal in some ways, because it's going straight to my own wallet, you know, where I have it already, you know, so that's been one of the nice parts of it.
Yeah.
So I mentioned some other solutions that we had kind of seen, but this was also, and this ties into why we thought we could do better and just what we were seeing people do. And prior to 1UpCoin, what we saw a lot of people doing is putting QR codes for Bitcoin, Litecoin, etc. in their Twitch panels. And you know, those panels are below the video stream. Every streamer has them. It's how you find the donation links. But like, one, you put a bunch of QR codes in there, it's going to look cluttered. Two, like, most people aren't going to know what that is, and maybe the people that you want to know what that is know, and they can scan it. But at the end of the day, like, that just wasn't a good solution in our eyes, because one, that meant it went to a single QR code, a single address. Two, the streamers, when a donation did go through that process, they didn't have any sort of alert set up, and so you didn't know that somebody donated. Somebody have to be like, hey, I donated Bitcoin to you in your chat, and you'd have to see that, and you'd have to go check, and like, people are like, oh, hold on, let me grab my wallet and double check and make sure. And there was no way to send a message. And so like, I don't know about you guys, but one of the big things about donations on Twitch is like getting your message shown and for you guys to acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's like an event. It's like a big celebration. It's like a big little party when it happens. Like, it's almost like popping a bottle. You know, you wanna celebrate an achievement that happened on a stream.
Yeah, the best way to describe it, honestly.
Yeah,
that is the
it's
best
like,
way to describe it. I love that. Yeah.
So not having, like before this, having a way to, like, there were ways obviously to send and receive cryptocurrencies, but the problem of not having the alert was truly like the one that kind of made it not as it just didn't bring in the fun that is already attached to existing tips and donations on Twitch.
Yeah. Plus, you're already doing so many things on your stream. You're playing a game, you're talking back and forth between chat, throwing jokes at them, you know, all sorts of stuff. And like, you can't be bothered to be checking your cryptocurrency wallet that happens 1% out of, you know, or 1 minute out of 1,000 hours. You know, you can't be like, oh, let me check it every so often too. You need those reminders, and like, that's where alerts in general on platforms really help streamers keep the entertainment going, while also ensuring that they engage. You know, there's a reason every YouTuber reminds you to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's the same reason why we would remind you to check out our Patreon at patreon.warp.world. Repetition and acknowledgement, you know, it works. Additionally, one of the big benefits, I think, of having a donation pop up is other people might want to get in on that. they might be like, oh, this guy donated you $5 in Litecoin, I'm going to donate you $6. Like, I've seen PayPal donation wars where people started with $1, somebody went to 2, 3, 4, and like same thing happens with cryptocurrencies as well. But you can't have that if you don't have an alert system built in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. And those are fun. And we have seen it. That is one of my favorite things about like having the 1UpCoin though, like you said, is we kind of I've seen like jokes where like people that really like Litecoin versus people that really like Ethereum. And the joke they were donating against, well, mine's gonna be worth more tomorrow. You know, like this donation will be worth more tomorrow. So
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite parts about it, you know.
Yeah, it goes back to the price changes, which you can have fun with. Again, if you're not relying on these donations to survive, then you're able to kind of use them and hold on to them and just like have them there as a safety and as a possibility for the future. You're future proofing yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You know, so without there's also, we've had challenges. There was many challenges to setting up 1UpCoin, and like it was not a simple thing to do right off the bat. We had a lot of things that we wanted to make sure we got right, especially by working with Twitch streamers. You know, again, we've mentioned it many times, there was no acceptable solutions in our mind. The QR code alone was not enough. The having it linked to a single streamer didn't make sense. We experimented with setting up your own wallets with an extended public key, and I'm going to ask Pooh to talk about his experience with that. But with that, like, you needed to have your own wallet for every single coin. We needed something to constantly watch for those transactions on those blockchains ourselves as the service, and so like it just would cost a lot on our end, and this is a service that we were providing for free. You know, so like it's just, there was a lot of those challenges, and we actually have 2 slides of challenges. So I do want to have Pooh talk though about, you know, the initial beta that I sent them on the setup process.
Yeah, so one of the things, and this is actually kind of funny because we'll just kind of talk maybe about an overall process at Warp World, and something that we kind of joke about, but it is true, is it has to be easy enough for me to set it up. Because while I have been streaming for a long time, I don't know what the heck I'm doing 95% of the time. I'm just winging it, and I am notorious for, if something's kind of difficult to set up, I won't. Yeah. So yeah, I won't. That's something that we had to do, and the original process, and the original thing we had to do was that we basically got a wallet for each individual coin, and we had to put in with that big long extended code. You had to make sure you copy and pasted it. Correct. This is how we did it. Correct. And I had to paste it into each individual one. And then everything would be separated in different spots too, as well, which again, for someone like me, just wasn't going to work for me. You know what I mean? It was something that I would just forget and lose eventually. Maybe not lose is the right word, but yeah, lose might be the right word. You know what I mean? Lose, forget about, give up on overall, you know? So that's when I think this is something that's been really fun about a lot of the processes we have, is how we go back to, you know, how they kind of, this is going to sound stupid, that they kind of go back to make it idiot proof. You know what I mean? How we all kind of go back to make it like, all right, where's the bottleneck for you signing up? And when I say you, me, in this situation, and they solve those problems right away. And Jakku, you know, very quickly realized that the individual wallets would not be the way.
Yeah, absolutely. The Grand Pooh Bear test, as we call it internally, is absolutely vital to the success of what we've done, because Pooh is a perfect example of our target demographic. Myself and even Xwater, we have a bit more you know, background in computers and can go through a few extra steps and understand things, but we don't want to assume all of our users have that. And so without Grand Pooh Bear, 1UpCoin wouldn't be exactly what it is today, and that's a good thing.
Without me being so dumb. You know what I mean?
You got skills in different areas.
Exactly. And that is something that, but it is true. It's a lot of streamers operate the way I operate, in that like it's like you have a small amount of time right before you start stream to set anything up that you want to set up, you know? And so that's part of the reason why we need to make it part of the reason why one of our goals is to make it nice, fast, and efficient. And a great example is if it's too hard for me to do, or too hard for me, or too complicated, or too annoying for me to do it, and I'm helping, obviously it's going to be too complicated and annoying for other people to do it. So
Yeah.
it is a joke, but it is also a real thing, an absolute real
Yeah.
thing we do.
So many times will a streamer learn about something, why they are streaming, and they will check it
Yes.
out immediately. And if they are unable to set it up during that time, you may have lost them until like they are really forced to do it again. And so if we can get something where it's easy to set up in a minute or two with minimal reading and just clicking, we'll have a successful product.
Yeah.
So, you know, early testing, early days of 1UpCoin, you know, educating of users about the addresses and the software variations, that would have required a lot of support. And explaining them to Pooh was easy because it was one person, but like multiply that by 10 and we're already overwhelmed. I told you at the beginning of this talk, like it was like the four of us. There's four of us at the company really working on stuff. And so we couldn't handle that. Running our own blockchains and transactions, again, revenue stream for us was not
We discussed it.
then.
We did discuss that
Yeah.
too at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk a lot of stuff through. We like to think about long term and like, all right, we can get this working, and it would work for 6 months, a year. But what about 4 years? Where would we be if like we had no growth and stuff? So like we like to think long ahead. Pooh mentioned it too. Like during the setup process, they had to go and create all these wallets, and they may have lost the wallets at one point. They may have deleted it. Streamers format their computers when there's a big problem with their computer. Like, I can't figure this out. I'm just going to start over. And if you forgot, like, oh yeah, I had a Litecoin wallet.
I do that all the time.
What are you going to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we as a service wouldn't have been able to recover your coins, which is good and bad because one, we're not in control of your coins. We can't take your coins from you. We can't, you know, we can't steal from you. We don't want to steal from you, and we want to ensure we can't steal from you. But that also means we can't help you. You know, one of the other solutions we thought about, and this is man in the middle wallets. We could run the same sort of system, blockchains and stuff, and we could generate a unique address for each donation, and then forward it on to your actual address. So you don't have to tell us your extended public key. You just give us one address. But multiple issues with that. Again, Pooh could lose his keys, or any streamer could lose his keys. Not to call him out. Fees. It would double the fees. If you sent a Bitcoin to that address and then we had to forward it on to another one and the fee was already $5, now it's $10 and they only sent you 15, like nobody wants that. Transfer speeds, all that sort of stuff. And there are coins, and I'll talk about some of those coins, at least one of them, that has no fees and no like almost instant transfers, which is like, sounds like a perfect coin for this experience. And we're talking about it. But yeah, just a whole lot of issues around that. Educating users was definitely going to be a big problem if we couldn't come up with a better solution. And so how do we overcome those challenges? We honestly, so again, we realized all these things. We realized extended public keys wasn't going to work. And so we decided to leverage Coinbase APIs. Coinbase, as I mentioned earlier, when I told you about 1UpCoin, it's a service that was simple to use. Almost anyone could sign up for it in the US at least. And it made cryptocurrency buying and selling and just holding easy. And there's a lot of crypto purists out there, cryptocurrency purists. I need to make sure that I say cryptocurrency, not crypto, because I come from a security background. I digress. But we want to make sure that, you know, it was accessible. And I understand Coinbase is one of the exchanges where people are like, it's not your keys, it's not your money, it's not. But you have to have within reason. You're trying to get a bunch of users that have no idea what you know, and there has to be an on-ramp somewhere for them. And Coinbase is a pretty good one, in my experience. They do have some issues here and there. They're not perfect, and I want to find more solutions and more options for people. But a lot of other services don't have the same APIs as them, and so again, not a perfect company, but much better than all the previous solutions we were coming up with. We didn't have to worry about deletion of keys. Grand Pooh Bear could forget his wallets. He could forget his Coinbase account existed for 2 years, and then be like, "Oh yeah, let me just log in," as long as he can remember his password. And you know what? Maybe
streamers did that. There are streamers that did that.
There's one in particular. Yeah, and they reached out. We've had them reach out to us, being like, "Hey, how do I get my coins again? I forgot. I've gone through 4 different computers since then. It's like, they're not on your computer, they're on your Coinbase, you're good. And they're like, oh, this is so great. I thought they were lost. So amazing job there. And it's one of those things that we wanted to make sure that like streamers were going to be able to be taken care of at the end of the day. Because we didn't want to have this issue where streamers received a bunch of coins and then 6 months down the line, we're getting all these support issues and they're on our social media complaining that we did something wrong. So this solved so many issues that just, it made it a great solution. I wouldn't say a perfect solution, but a great solution. So yeah. Additionally, with 1UpCoin, when we launched 3 coins, now we support 45 or so coins. We've helped over 20,000 streamers at this point receive cryptocurrency. $5 million plus has been transacted through it, and we've made it simple. So
I remember during the
yeah.
So I was gonna say, I remember during the first wave of like right around when we launched, and we were seeing these clips of streamers receiving like an entire Bitcoin, like 1 Bitcoin at a time in some of their streams.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I'm not gonna like. There was one in particular that comes to mind. Of it was just a wild experience. Like their chat was going nuts. They were going nuts. And they were in the middle of doing some funny stuff, man. But it was awesome seeing so much money, going into the hands of creators in this new way that just was, it came into fruition. It was awesome. It was so cool.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about too. And like we had a lot of moments like that where we saw a full coin of certain cryptocurrencies get donated, and like that even those amounts at that time were changing people's lives. And if they still have those coins, it's definitely changing their lives.
Right.
And and the crazy thing is there's been full coin donations in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
And like
that's also nuts. Yeah.
One thing I know about that is that's an old school guy. That's one of the, whoever's donating it is like, they've got a lot of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like Bitcoin. Yeah. You know what I mean? They don't even think of it as in a dollar value to them. Exactly. Yeah. They don't even think of it. They're
like, this is one of my X of Bitcoin and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and one thing that you talk, just to get to that point, one thing that's been really interesting for me is it's been, I've kind of used it to help, and this is gonna be nerd talk, but I've used it to help fill out my altcoin portfolio a little bit, because I wouldn't say that I'm super educated on every single altcoin that's out there. But when someone donates to me in an altcoin, I just kind of leave it in there and use it to see that, and it kind of helps. In a way, like as a streamer, you're like diversifying your crypto portfolio automatically by accepting, the multitude of coins we have now, which has been really, really cool and fun for me too. Yeah. And then inevitably you learn about them, you know what I mean? You get a donation on it, you're gonna go look it up and educate yourself. So
yeah. It's I definitely, my portfolio expanded with it too, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you get donate with all the coins we support now. It's really cool that you're just able to kind of hold on these other coins. And maybe you're like, oh, maybe I'll take a look at this because I got a few donations in it now. And you're like, oh, I really like this. So maybe you're going buy some into that currency. But so that was the past. That was what 1UpCoin was, how it came out, what challenges we faced. But people are excited about updates and innovations. So we got some of those. Not a lot. Don't get too excited, but there's always room for improvements, and we definitely want to do more improvements. But recently, in the last few weeks, even the back end has been a lot increased in stability a lot. The UI has been changed in a few places. Accepting more coins within Coinbase is easier for me to set up. At the time when Coinbase launched this, had these APIs, they had 3 coins, and there wasn't really much on the horizon for new coins. And then like a year later, they added 4 coins, and it was there. Now it's like a few clicks, and I can add the new coins as they come out, with a few exceptions. Again, I mentioned that. There's automatic conversion to USD or Bitcoin. So this is something that we're looking to do. And I think somebody asked this question, so I'll get into that a little bit more detail during the Q&A. But the few things that we're looking to do is adding adding automatic conversions of USD to Bitcoin or vice versa or whatever. Accepting more coins out of Coinbase is something that we have been actively working on and have had a few leads. Better alert options so that you don't necessarily need to use Streamlabs. Warp World Pro features, if you're not sure of what that is, we have a Patreon, patreon.warp.world. It gets you a lot of extra perks and benefits on all of our services. But some of these may be under the pro features. But right now, as I mentioned before, 1UpCoin is completely free to use, set up, and start receiving cryptocurrency donations. So there's like, if you're interested in this space at all, it's an easy way to get involved without costing you anything. We're not looking to charge you for anything. This is just something that we're providing because one of the big core philosophies over at Warp World is we build services that we ourselves want to use that don't exist. And so we also want others to have that possibility. And so we like to give this stuff out for free when we can.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get into some nerd stuff real quick. It's not a lot of nerd stuff, so you don't have to get too bored. But what is Warp World from a nerd level? We're leveraging the APIs of Coinbase, Stream Elements, or Streamlabs. And what that means is, you link your Coinbase account to us through OAuth, and you link your Stream Elements account to us through your OAuth. So what that gives us the ability to do is create an address on your wallet on Coinbase. Only create, not transact. We can only basically do read only, other than the creation. And when a donation comes in on that address, we know who it was from, and what the amount was and all that stuff. So we're able to then pass that on to Stream Elements, where you can set up your custom alerts to do whatever you want with the sound effects and all that stuff that you would come to find. I think we got about 5 microservices in all. And so we have one that's handling the login for the site and connection to Coinbase. So all the OAuth sort of stuff. We got a service that handles the connection to Coinbase to generate those addresses. We've got another one that receives that information back from Coinbase when a donation does happen, and that then sends the alert off to your Stream Elements. When you receive an email, when you receive a donation, if you have the email set up, it will email you. So maybe you're off stream, because that's the other thing I've seen is streamers have received cryptocurrency donations off stream, and so you might not realize it, but we can send you an email, and we'll also update you of any issues. Sometimes Coinbase keys can get out of sync. That should have been resolved at this point. I worked with Coinbase on that, and so we should be good to go. I haven't seen anything in about 3 weeks, so I'm excited about that. And then we have a really cool service on our website that shows you the current active live streamers using 1UpCoin. So if you're one of those diehard cryptocurrency fans that have a lot of coins and you're looking to support some streamers, we make it easy for you to find those streamers that are looking to accept. And I know people have been found on that page. I think Cliffy, a good friend of the podcast, of Warp World in general, I think they told me that they had multiple people coming into the stream like, hey, I found you on 1UpCoin. This is cool, and like donated. So like it does work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I definitely had that happen to me as well back in the day, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was an easy way. Yeah, it was just like, well, we want to show off the users, and so that is an opt-in feature, I should say, because not everyone wants to be displayed on a website. We're not trying to use you for our own promotional information. Again, at Warp World, we're very conscious of all this sort of stuff because as streamers, we don't like being taken advantage of. So why would we take advantage of our kind, essentially?
Yeah, a big like philosophy, especially that Jakku has always preached, is we don't want any data that we don't like that doesn't relate to what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? Like we don't need any data beyond what we need to make that transaction happen, and that's something that we're very, adamant about. So, that's something Jakku preaches about every single project.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the things, and we're talking about this on an upcoming Tech Talk, but just as a sneak peek, our new website that we are working on, it will be fairly awesome, I think, in the way we're approaching security and scopes for user accounts, but it's going to handle the scopes permissions for each of our services slightly different, so that you don't have to go and give us access to all of your stuff on Twitch just to just to use crowd control or multi-queue or something like that. There right now, if we need to use a scope, like if we need to read your subscriber list, we will ask for it for that service alone. We won't ask for it globally, because one of those services might not need it, and you might not be using that service. So why would we want that information?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
look forward to that. And so with that, I do have a demo. And so we're gonna just let me do some setup here. Boop. All right, and all right. So we are demo time.
Demo time.
It's my favorite
Here we
part.
go. All right. So here is 1UpCoin. It's a fairly simple interface that's served us well for many years. It mentions some of the coins we support. It's got a big get started button. Mentions a few details here. We got a few people with some quotes. And yeah, it gives you a quick rundown and lets you know what services we support. You're able to click on the get started button and log in with your Twitch or YouTube. I'm already logged into my account, so I'm just going to go over here. Simple. This is what you look like once you log right in. I'm going to show you how to link stream elements. So I'm going to just disconnect mine real quick. It pops up a nice little box like, hey, disconnect it. Sure. All right, we're disconnected. Up here, it's now letting me know, like, hey, link your accounts below to get started. So it knows that we're missing at least one account linkage between Alert Platform and Coinbase. So we're going to click connect, click stream elements, say okay. It's going to ask us for our channel information and to create and update tips. And this is how we're able to say, the 0.1 Bitcoin or whatever you're donated is worth this much and have it alert. So I click authorize, and we're done. That little message up top is no longer there. So easy to follow, like, hey, I don't have to do anything anymore. I'm not going to disconnect my Coinbase because then I have to go through two-factor and all that fun stuff. I do 100% recommend when you're setting up your Coinbase to have two-factor though. And try not to do the SMS if you can help it. I'm not going to get mad at you if you do, but try not using the SMS stuff when you can. So at one point we did have nano support, and I think we're talking about that more near the end. But that goes here. Something is in the works here. You can click on your donations to view your donations. But we're going to send a test alert. So I've linked my alert platform, and we got Coinbase. So let's send a test alert and see what that looks like. It's going to say, hey, do you want to send it? It's going to look like a real donation. Say okay. Test donation sent. And right there at the bottom of the screen, 1UpCoin tipped 4.52. So we tip about $5 on average in Litecoin as a test. And then what's really cool, and this is like one of the things that I really think about and something behind the scenes, this donation link here. You want people to donate to you, so you need a donation link in your panels. We actually have a little message. If you don't have the panel, it will pop up and be like, hey, don't forget to add your panel to your site. So because I do have the panel, I won't see that message. But if you don't have the panel, it will let you know. Again, email settings. Do you want to receive donation emails? Do you want to receive our newsletters? We haven't yet to send a newsletter. We hope to. We have a customized donation page. Just quick little thing, your message and your Twitter. Nothing too complicated there. And then streamer list. This is what I was talking about with the users page, which I will also show you in a second. But this is the streamers list page. So if you want to be listed on that page, you opt into it. And so to show you what that looks like, we just go to our users. And right here, you can see some of the users that are currently live, what game they're playing, how many people are watching them, and how many followers they have. So you could be like, I really want to find somebody that's got a small community and could use some extra support. So we make that simple. And yeah, so that's really it. It's really simple. At the end of the day, it walks you through each of the setups really if you need to. And it's been running for about, 3-4 years at this point, and it's just really exciting. I think that's it for demo. So why don't we go over to question time?
Doing the questions.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me get ready for that. All right, we'll take this one from Solid Plasma, and we're transition over to that screen. Can people buy bits/crowd control coins with 1UpCoin? No. As much as I would love to do this, and I actually there was a post on a cryptocurrency donation or on a cryptocurrency subreddit yesterday that mentioned crowd control and their coin, which is Nano, which is a coin I really enjoy and I think is a great coin. They asked that they wanted a Nano version of crowd control, essentially, but no, we unfortunately right now we cannot do that. Any transactions on extensions on Twitch have to be done through bits. There are a few exceptions with like Amazon Pay, but that's directly for like merchandise and things like that. So there could be a possibility in the future for a off-platform extension that users can go to and do this, but on the Twitch, like on the platform itself with that extension, it is not currently possible. So very, very good question, and I'd love to support it. So all right, we got another question about oh, that's the same question.
I feel like we're gonna get one. I feel like there's one question that someone's gonna ask. You know, one very specific question that someone's gonna ask.
See.
Yeah.
All right. So this next question comes from Chris needs help. How big of a problem is chargeback for streamers? And I'll let Grand Poop or Xwater answer this exclusively, since I mean that's more of the field.
It's not something that happens every day, but it is something that happens often enough, and it is a somewhat enough of a pain to where we all would enjoy anytime that we can protect ourselves from that is a good situation for us, I believe. Yeah, I mean it's not even the money that it costs you, it's the time that it costs you dealing with it, because even if you even if you just give them back their money, it's still a lot of time and effort and everything else that goes into it. It affects your standing with different platforms. Like if you get enough chargebacks, you could in theory be just kicked off like PayPal or something, which is kind of wild to think of. So all those things do play a factor in this. So I wouldn't say it's not a gigantic problem, but any problem that we can solve is going to help us out.
It's definitely nice to there's a voice in the back of my head when I get a crypto donation that's just like, worry-free money, baby. Don't gotta worry about a thing.
I get most excited for crypto. I get crypto bits than regular cash. That's my excitement factor for them. Yes.
Yeah. I think you guys hit it. Like it might not be that huge of a problem for many, but for some it is. Like there are definitely streamers out there that get targeted harassment on this sort of thing, and they will see multiple chargebacks a month. And I think a lot of the smaller streamers end up getting this because it's bigger trolls that know what they can do, and this discourages these smaller streamers. And so this is an opportunity for them to have another solution. You're most likely not going to get more donations in crypto than you are typical PayPal or bits, but in the off chance that you do, you can. So might as well. Next question. Kaiser Seka, I think is, So is it possible to add X currency, which is not on Coinbase yet, for 1UpCoin, or is this purely on Coinbase? So great question.
That is the question, but I thought it was going to have a very specific, crypto
coin instead of
reference.
X currency. Yeah. So we did support OneCoin off of Coinbase back in 2017, 2018, called Nano. Nano is a cryptocurrency that is feeless. It has no, the transaction rates on it are fast. It's almost instant, and it was really cool. And when I first saw it, I fell in love with it. It was called Ryblocks at the time. And so I looked to support it, and we worked with an exchange at the time called Nanex, which has shut down. And we helped make sure that all of our users got their coins off from that platform as much as possible. And why it was sad to see them go, it was a great coin to have on our platform. And since then, I have been looking at solutions ever since. And one of the reasons we haven't been able to support them is the way 1UpCoin works right now is anytime someone goes to donate to you, they can type their name, they can type their message, and they'll get a unique address for that instance, essentially. And so when a donation happens on that address, we know that it was tied to those messages. And so typical retailers and merchants, they will end up being able to accept the same amount of or accept currencies on a same address, because they're also embedding like an additional number in the amount that the user has to spend. But with donations, we don't know how much the person's going to transact and give the streamer. And we've tried to ask them on that form, be like, how much in Bitcoin do you want to donate? And like let them choose the Bitcoin amount or the dollar amount. And 9 out of 10 times they would say $5 and then they'd send 6 or 4 or 5.2. And it was just like, it doesn't work if they do that because we don't know that it's for that account then. And so it causes all this confusion. And then they're in the streamer's chat like, hey, I sent you money, but it didn't alert. And then the streamer reaches out to us like, hey, I received money, but it didn't alert. And I'm like, they were supposed to send $5.12 and they sent $6, which is great. They made more money, but there's not an easy way to do that through those. There's obviously other solutions out there, something like MetaMask, where we could try things to transactions, and we are looking into those sorts of solutions. But yeah, that's why we typically don't support other currencies yet. Additionally, yet. Once we do add more coins and or we do add another currency, like I do hope to be able to find a solution that's going to allow us to add a lot more outside of Coinbase, so that it's one process as opposed to 50 processes. Just like with the setup for streamers having to download all these wallets and keep track of them, if I find solutions that are like only going to work for one coin, now I'm going to have to do that work. And like, it's my job, I guess, but I'm not getting paid for that job. It becomes, it's not even that, it's more so that it just becomes so hard to maintain and track these API changes from these other services and things like that.
That's unfeasible.
So it's a great question,
but yeah, I mean, I think everyone in chat is, I think we all know what specific coin that the Twitchosphere wants, and we're fully aware of that, I would say. Like, we're fully aware of the coin. Yes, everyone is fully aware of we know the coin you want to give to streamers. We understand what it is.
Yeah.
We know we want to make that happen, is I think, yeah. Ultimately. Yes.
We got another question here from Dr. Kiraniko, I guess. I don't know. Kiranko. Can streamers set up custom alert for cryptocurrency? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All of your alerts can be set up on Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and you can set them up to be whatever you want for them. We leverage those sites because while we could design and build that sort of UI, we don't want like that's a waste of our time to build something that already exists that thousands, if not that millions of streamers are already using and are already used to, that have been doing it very well for the last few years. So again, leveraging these existing APIs is definitely the best use case for everyone involved because you don't have to go and set up something new that you've never seen before, and we don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. All right. Cryptocurrency, this one is from Exil562. Cryptocurrency can and have been stolen by hackers. Is there a good way to be safe against that? This cuts off a little bit. Has that ever been a problem for any of you? You're absolutely right. Cryptocurrency can be stolen. That's why I highly suggest you have two-factor. You have a secure password. You have, password manager with two-factor. Anything can be stolen though. Even your money in your bank can be stolen.
Yeah.
If they can get your login, same thing.
We could do a whole nother thing about physical wallets as well. And it's always a good idea to transfer your money off physical. That's a whole nother topic, Yeah. But there are lots of ways to protect your crypto beyond that. But you should be smart and safe with all your passwords, and anywhere you should enable two-factor, which is something that again, like being a Jakku disciple, I fully understand the importance of,
Yeah. And you've had issues with two-factor, especially SMS, and there's a question about SMS, so I will bring that up in that portion. That also said, again, your coins are going to Coinbase, and while you can hold your coins on that platform, it is still highly recommended that you get yourself like a hardware wallet, and there's like the Tether or the Ledger, and there's a few others out there that you can get. And you can send your coins from Coinbase to that hardware wallet, and it's a physical device that requires you to enter a PIN code on, and it's going to be much harder for your coins to ever get stolen. I mean, everyone knows this, but again, if somebody has a wrench and you have your coins in a hardware wallet, they'll be able to brute force it out of you. But that's a physical attack. So yeah, there's definitely.
Chaku's over here talking about torture.
That's what we call physical hacking.
Yeah, I just want to be clear about that. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I like to let people be informed.
Yeah, I think the big point is that, like, sure, it's maybe a little less safe when you don't take it out of Coinbase and do something with it, like put it in your own personal, private, physical wallet, probably the safest option. But even between that, you could have something on your computer. And like you were talking about earlier, Jaku, the beautiful thing about that Coinbase being that first step is it does lower that barrier of entry for the majority of streamer, like the cryptocurrency space is kind of complicated for someone who knows nothing about it. So Coinbase, while maybe not as safe as having a USB key on you that someone's got to use a wrench to get out from you, it's one step away from there. But torture. Coinbase is definitely with two-factor. You're not, I would say, and I could be wrong, but I'd say you're not in any tremendous danger from a malicious attack if you're protecting yourself with a good password and two-factor and all that. And if you are concerned, there is the option to then take those extra steps. Yeah,
like you have the same problems with Coinbase that you have with your own banking right now, and
with
PayPal.
your online banking account. Yeah,
with your online. So you should be taking the same precautions with anything that involves your money, any system, Steam, anything. So absolutely, yeah. But that's between you and Coinbase. Again, we have nothing to do with your personal money ever. So
yeah. But that is a good question. It's good to address it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. More people need to be aware of it. We got another question from Rev Luster. I don't really understand it, but can I just put money into a vest? Are you talking like in cryptocurrency or Warp World? You can put money in cryptocurrency. That's what a lot of people are doing. They're speculating. And like, we are not financial advisors. We are not experts in this sort of thing. And we are not telling you to put your money into Bitcoin or Litecoin or anything like that. Disclaimer out of the way. Put in what you want. And if you like something, go for it. That is gambling though. If you're talking about Warp World, not at this time.
1UpCoin's a service, not an actual coin, and the more I think about it, maybe we should just call it 1UP service. But here we are.
Well, we got a name brand coming.
That is your personal thing.
Once you do invest in the coins, though, then you can use 1UpCoin to donate that to streamers.
Yeah.
Right. So that actually brings us into this question. Like, I remember WarpCoin's chocolate, which was I still have one. I'm not opening it because I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Collector's item.
But it was a chocolate coin that you could buy on a website. It was a sponsor of our podcast. So when is actual WarpCoins? We're not interested in building a coin. At Warp World, we want to be passionate about what we do and really believe in what we want to do and use our skills in areas that we think we can actually do something awesome in. We're not in the interest of making money just to make money like that. We want to make sure that we're passionate about what we're doing. And so I don't think any of us were like, obviously we all like making money in our own ways, but I don't think any of us are passionate enough to be like, let's make a coin that doesn't make any sense to make a coin on. Mm-hmm. I think too many coins.
There's already a meme coin out there, right, chat? Like, we're already dealing
with many of them.
That work. Yeah.
Pat asks, how common is it for a donation to come through 1UpCoin? I don't know the numbers of donations, like average donations through PayPal and other means. But what I can tell you is that we probably get over 100+ donations a week on the platform for streamers. It's not a lot, it's not a little, but it grows. It grows each time. Obviously, there was a lull in 2020. Or 2019 really. And it's been increasing ever since again, which is nice. But yeah, it comes and goes. But I think the important thing is just letting users know.
Yeah, I would say the
Yep.
ebb and flow of donations, from my personal experience, has kind of been with the ebb and flow of crypto itself, and its popularity and how
Yep.
widely known. But I think now, we just kind of, I think these last few months has been the tipping point, for it to go from, I'd say even in October it still felt niche, and now I don't feel that way anymore. And it's just become more and more frequent in my personal experience with doing zero advertising for it, beyond what we normally do for donations. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. We got this question from 1401 Gier, I guess.
Mhm.
Are there any issues on the horizon with Twitch losing out on their bits? No, I think like bits have been around for 4 years now, approximately.
Something like that.
And PayPal donations have been around for so many years, and people are all worried about them like removing PayPal links from your panels once they added bits. There's been nothing that I've seen about that at all. I don't think anyone's worried about PayPal getting removed. I think Twitch knows that if they did that, it'd be a huge problem for them. Streamers would not enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple enough. Yeah. Doctor also again asks, will you show us how to set this up? Already did. So hopefully you asked that before I showed you how to set it up, but again, super easy.
Literally right before I saw it come in chat. It was literally right before.
Okay.
So
well, they
all
also
good.
ask this question, which I said I'd get to, is why is SMS two-factor bad? So number of reasons. Number one is tied to your phone number, which is fairly public. Most people share their phone number. And so if an attacker really wants to get your phone number, they can try to social engineer your phone provider to then do a SIM attack, basically, to get a SIM card with your number on it, put it in their phone, and if they do a password reset or something, they could potentially get your two-factor and your passwords all sent to that text message. So that's one reason why it's bad. The other reason, and I alluded to this earlier, and I wanted Pooh to tell this story, and this happened in Canada.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I was in
explain?
Canada. I was in Canada and I didn't have any phone service, because my provider, I found out, didn't have service in Canada, and we were doing a live stream, and I had my Twitch two-factor that I needed my phone to log into, and I couldn't do it because I had no service, so we couldn't log into my stream. Luckily for us, we know big people in smart places, and they knew if I was calling from Jakku's phone, it was probably true. And Jakku pays the big money for his phone service since he travels all over the world, and so we got it taken care of. But it almost was a literal tragic event.
Yeah, we almost weren't able to get a stream key. But yeah, luckily we have that relationship. So, Fuzz Wizzle, do you think user interface is a big hurdle for cryptocurrency becoming more widely accepted? Absolutely. I think anything is like that. The easier something becomes, the easier it is to become adopted by those users. It's one of the reasons why we went back to the drawing board a few times with 1UpCoin to ensure that anyone that doesn't know anything about cryptocurrency can start using the platform and set it up. And Coinbase does make that simple again, as I mentioned. And that's why that's also why I really believe in these on-ramps into the cryptocurrency space, like Kraken and Coinbase, that are more accessible to the general public. That's going to get them interested. If everyone was still using BTCE and even prior the Bitcoin forums to do transactions, like it would not be at the value it is today because there wasn't an easy on-ramp for users. Let's see. How much back-end software maintenance is required year to year by Max? Boom. Actually, it's been fairly hands-off for me. This has been a service that I think I'm the only developer on the team that has ever even really touched. And I check in on it every now and then. I got alerts for when things go down, which is very rare. Sometimes when a really large streamer is using our currency, I might get alerts like, hey, our CPU is a little higher than typical, but it still chugs along just fine. It's broken up in all those microservices, and that really helps with just reliability and maintenance and stuff. So it's very little maintenance on our end, which is not the main reason we kept it around. I really believe in just this whole platform, but it's definitely one of the benefits of being able to leave it around when it's not making us any money, because it doesn't make us any money. Solid Plasma asks, is Warp World self-funded, or do you guys have some kind of venture capital? Currently, Warp World has been pretty much self-funded. We've received 2 safes at some point. We've done 2 safe rounds for a total of $200,000 in our existence, and that's helped us build out some of the things that we've done. And so, we'd love to get some backing so that we can focus on more products and bring on more team members to build things out. But we are currently not backed by any sort of venture capital funds or anything. Getting off.
We on our own, baby.
Upcoin.
Yeah, we on our own, baby.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you got some Bitcoin though, you can always send it.
You're looking at the vast majority owners right here. Yes, so.
Yeah. Submelon all or AL or L. Do you collect, log any user data, and how are those data used? We have some user data. When a transaction happens, we have a panel for you to see, that a Bitcoin or Litecoin came in, and so we have that information. We have the message that came along with it, but other than that, we really don't have anything. I mentioned this earlier on. We don't want to collect things that we don't have to. So we do have your email address, as that is part of this OAuth scope. And if you opt in for the emails, we can email you. We won't otherwise. But there's nothing where we're doing like user tracking across our platforms or anything like that to try and figure out more information than you wanted to give us. We're, again, if we don't like having it happen to us, we don't want to do it to others.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not one of those companies that's selling data on the back end. If that's what you're getting at. We don't keep any of that.
Yeah. Cannon Swift, you may have answered this earlier in the podcast. It's not a podcast, it's Tech Talk. I might have missed it. When a streamer uses
that's
this,
okay.
Is there a split? What?
No, I was just saying that's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's a new thing. It's debut episode of Tech Talk here.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just when a streamer uses this, is there a split with 1UpCoin, or does 1UpCoin work through donations? Yeah, we do not sit between the middle of the transactions. We have been clear about that. It's in our FAQ on the website. We do not take any of the transaction, because if we did, it would take a cut of the fee from the, we'd have to pay the fee again. It's just not something we're interested in doing. It's something that a $5 donation would end up being $2 or something stupid on certain coins, and it's not something that we want to do. So yeah, no fees on that.
If someone's and I think what people are very curious is what's the purpose of doing this if it doesn't make us any money? And I think ultimately we like making cool stuff, and we like making stuff that we like to use, and not everything has to be a revenue driver to be worthwhile for our time. Does that make sense? I mean, and that's kind of been a philosophy that Jakku's always had, and something that we would rally behind a lot, they're good problems to have. The question about maintenance came up, and it's a perfect example. It doesn't take me that much time to work on maintenance every now and then with this service, and so at the end of the day, it's fine. If it was something like Turnip Exchange, where I was having 18-hour days just on Turnip Exchange alone, then I'd be like, oh man, it'd be great if I could make some revenue from this, so that it's worth my time. But it's not like that. It's very much engineered in such a way that it can be as hands off as possible while performing this service for users. Mm-hmm. All right. So the Jury 15 asks, are there any future plans for being able to donate NFTs? NFTs. I love this question.
They're not new, but they're new again, if that makes sense. NFTs have been hot. What's the meme right now? What's the meme with Zoolander? Male models.
They're so hot right now, or whatever. They're so hot right now. Can we Mugatu's so hot right now. NFTs are so hot right now.
Potentially, I don't know. It's something we're exploring. We like to explore and make what makes sense for us. Again, we want to be passionate about what we do. We don't want to just jump onto this bandwagon that's like, oh, hey, you can go and do this thing, and potentially make a lot of money. That's cool, but we want to be passionate about it and ensure that the users that are on our platform also are familiar enough with what they're getting themselves into and stuff like that. So I don't know. Potentially. I'm going to keep that vague because I don't know. We skill now. Does 1UpCoin provide Warp World with any profit? We already answered this just in the previous question, but wanted to make sure that you got that up there.
Nope.
Dabbit Prime asks, how many people make up the Warp World 1UpCoin team? We are about 10 team members now at Warp World, give or take. We have 4 services that we offer. We have multi-queue, we have 1UpCoin, we have crowd control, and we have Turnip Exchange. And so each of those services will have a few different people more active in them than others. For instance, I'm mainly responsible for multi-queue, 1UpCoin, and the back end of Turnip Exchange. And I dabble in crowd control. I built a lot of the new microservices and things, but so I'm in all 4 essentially. But someone like Kat, their responsibilities in crowd control. That is all they focus on. That's all we want them focusing on. Ross, who's running this stream behind the scenes, he is kind of behind the scenes in terms of these types of streams, but also they did the front end for Turnip Exchange. They built the extension for 1UpCoin, or not for crowd control, but they had no hand in multi-queue or 1UpCoin really. And so we have people all over, and then we have Moni, who's responsible for our social media, Mr. Disagree, who's responsible for the new website designs and the redesign of the crowd control website when we relaunched it a few years ago. So we got people all over, but about 10 or give or take. All different responsibilities. Yep. We Skill now also now asks, what's the most amount of Bitcoin ever donated at once? I want to say it was 1.2 Bitcoins, but I don't know offhand. It's not something I've kept track of. There was a streamer that I was watching, and I saw it happen, and it was great. They were doing a charity, so they ended up, and I hope they did their taxes right, but they were doing charity streams, and they ended up donating that money to Children's Hospital. So it was really cool to see. So even then, they took that, and that was 2 years ago or so. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hope that Children's Hospital kept it in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Do you think there are too many different coins and it won't be more viable until some standards get established? Yeah. I mean, that goes a lot more into cryptocurrency and less about the service, but that's okay. I think I think there is too many coins right now. When the general public hears about this coin blowing up or this coin blowing up, they don't know which ones to make sense. Bitcoin, people are saying it's a store of value, and it's like, well, what does that mean, and how does that work, and why does that make it worth something? And then other people are like, oh, you can use Ethereum for smart contracts, and you can do NFTs, which is really cool with them. And I love the idea of being able to give the original creators of something monetary support throughout the life of it. Every time it gets sold, they get a percentage, and I think we're going to see some really cool stuff with that. We're 10 years in the cryptocurrency space. There's so much more to go. We haven't even scratched the surface of what they're truly capable of, and where they're actually going to be going in the next 10, 20 years. I absolutely think that there's going to be some sort of big leader in the next few years. And I don't think there's going to be one single coin still. I think there's going to be a handful that is going to be more popular. And it's not going to say that another coin's not going to come out to surpass those. But it's going to be like anything. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook gaming, 3 of the same similar type platforms for streaming, but they all exist in their own way and have their own benefits. You guys got anything to add on that, or?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think it's just this is pure speculation, but I think it's clear that there's 2 that are leading the way right now and I'm pretty confident in, and the rest, who knows? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. And then we got final question, looks like. Guilty Camel, how are you guys handling user data storage since your servers are available worldwide with things like GDPR? As mentioned previously, we only take what we need. There's all these opt-in services on all of the platforms. Users that have data question asks are able to email our privacy accounts. We've had GDPR European individuals ask for their data to be deleted. Not a problem. Again, we're very conscious of that sort of stuff. We have one of our team members is a privacy lawyer, essentially. So we have a privacy lawyer on our team. So it's something we take very seriously. I know a lot of companies love that phrase. We take security very seriously. I have a background in information security for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's been a core thing of us for a long time.
Yeah, I really can't express how much it's preached by not just in all our products, but even just to us as individuals constantly, because Jaku, they know that's what his background is, and that's what he knows, and it's something that's super important to everything we do, absolutely everything we do now and we're ever gonna do.
All right, we got another question that came in. We probably will have to close these questions in a minute, but I'll give everyone we'll wrap up in the next.
We'll
5
do it
minutes
now.
or so. But Zerdoran, what achievement are you most proud, mind blown about since Warp World's creation? I mean, I'm blown away by everything that we've done, and the support that we've been able to do. The amount of, with crowd control alone, the amount of lives we've been able to change with that have used crowd control as streamers. Knowing that some of these streamers have received typical, more than typical average salary for a US citizen just using our service alone has been really exciting for me. Knowing that I've built something or been part of something that has helped people be able to live and do their dreams is amazing. And I think every time we come up with an idea, I'm just blown away by our team's capability of going from idea to creation in as fast as possible and with rapid prototyping and testing. XR and Poo, though, I want to hear your stories. Yeah.
I think for me, the moment where I was just like, wow, Warp World, amazing, was this past November when we did GlitchCon, and basically 25% of that event had Warp World either on the front or back end of it in some way, shape, or form. We had so many, our hands were so deep in on everything that Twitch was doing for their replacement for TwitchCon, which was just, I mean, that's got to be saying we're doing something right at that point. So that's for me the most proud moment for everything we've done, the culmination right there.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the day we announced crowd control, just because we had already announced that, we had acquired Bit Races and just the way there was a lot of conversations on the back end, or between me and Jaku and with Kat and just there was so many things, and I remember the first time I even talked to Jaku about this possibility. If it was something we could do, because it was going to be an actual a huge risk for us in a lot of ways. It was a huge risk for us, but it just the way watching it all come out and then not just not just succeed but kind of thrive over the last couple of years has been definitely really, really fun to see and be a part of, and that's been a driver to so many different opportunities and fun things for us now. So it's really crazy. It is really crazy to see where it's come from. Jaku sitting in a hotel room with 5 people, 6 people sleeping on the ground, coding Warp multi-queue, and then telling me what it is, looking over and just telling me what it is. And he's like, I think that the first time he's like, yeah, there's I think it was so it's yeah, there's some European streamers using it, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I want to use it when I get back. This is great, this is awesome. And it's so crazy to think that all this has come from kind of that moment, that he just happened to look over to me and say that, and I was been lucky enough to be a part of the ride now. So yeah, it's been really fun. But CC in particular, I think CC in particular was, I think, when we shifted from a thing, what do I want to say, a thing to a focus, or a real thing.
Yeah.
So when
I get where you're going.
a hobby to a company, really.
A hobby
like
to like, yeah,
repping,
this is
repping the crowd control shirt.
yeah, we can do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, crowd control is I love crowd control, and like that, mentioning that when we brought Cat on, there was a risk of just like, are we gonna vibe well with this person that built this thing? And like we, it was great because like Cat, like thinking about it now, like Cat, like I couldn't imagine doing this without them. And
No.
like, but there's always that risk, you bring somebody new on and you don't know who they are and whatnot. But like now it's like Cat is a great person. And we will have a tech talk about crowd control, and we will probably have Cat on if they wish to be on. And we're talking about that, and we're going to talk about Turnip Exchange on one of these, and we're going to talk about multi-queue and the evolution of that. Technically we should have done that one first, but cryptocurrency being kind of hot, and with some of the backend changes we've recently made, it made sense. We did get a question during that too, but yeah. So this is from Browsersaurus Rex, great name. How many unique users use each of your services? Depends on. So I'm going to exclude Turnip Exchange from this right now for a moment. On average, we got about 60,000 unique streamers on 1UpCoin, multi-queue, and crowd control. And then if you start to talk about, like, those are the streamers. If we talk about viewers or like submitters of entries in the queue, or submitters of effects on crowd control, or donators on 1UpCoin, then we're like 500,000. So that you're there. And then if we include Turnip Exchange, 6 million, give or take. And even
Pretty
that,
good.
People like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, even that we could break down. When we launched Turnip Exchange, we had 4 million users in the first month, and it was just like blown us away. So we're all over the place though with it, but
it was nuts.
We do hope to, yep. And then we got one more question. I think I'm gonna close the queue here. AW Tom, will you ever add features or services 1UpCoin that could bring revenue Warp World? Yeah. I mentioned it in a previous slide about improvements and things on 1UpCoin, how we can make things better. There are definitely services and features that we think would be useful for a streamer, but would cost a little bit for us to implement and use. And so we want to weigh those choices and make sure that it's the right choice. We don't want to be like, hey, you have to do this. But the core functionality of the service will most likely continue to be free. And we're figuring out what those things are. We're very like, I don't know how to say it, but we want to make sure that it makes sense for the streamers to use the service. And unless it makes
has
sense
value
to charge. Yeah, adds value.
Yeah, it has to have value. It has to have value for the user in order to justify doing it for us, if that makes sense. And I think that's core to everything we do as well. It has to add value to the user in order for us to charge them. We're not just gonna charge them to charge them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I do want to call out one thing too, is like we have been using the multi-queue for this Q&A questionnaire, which is typically just a queue for entering into games like Mario Maker or Smash Brothers, but it worked very well as a Q&A app.
Are you revealing a product right now? Is that what you're about to do, Jakku? Are you about to reveal a top secret product?
And it hasn't really been released. So yeah, we have something in the works around Q&A services.
Something we can do a tech talk about?
Yeah, something we can do a tech talk about. And one thing
we see you just chatting streamers.
One thing I do want to unveil is yesterday, and so starting yesterday, crowd control, we added support for a new charity called Charity Water. So if you don't know, crowd control allows you to link a few different charities through Tiltify to use the extension free of charge, or not free of charge, but through donations directly to the charity. So there's no bits involved. It's all purely through the Tiltify platform. We worked with Charity Water in the last week or so to get this activated. And so it's now live on crowd control. So it's one more charity added to the list. And we should hopefully have another charity being added next week as well. And that's one of the things. Again, like Warp World, and this is really a big effort by Grand Pooh Bear. not to say I'm not a big person that loves charities, but Grand Pooh Bear definitely was a leading charge of charity support and just, encouraging charities with Warp World and everything we do. And like, I'm so glad to be able to do this with our company.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's always been near and dear to my heart. It was a dream. Like that was one of the first things I talked about when we were getting bit races, was how amazing it would be for charity events. And it was always a priority for us. And it's been awesome, and we look forward to raising a ton more money for charities with it in the future. So
yeah.
Cool. That's
but I'm sure that's for another tech talk, though,
Absolutely. This is our first tech talk. Again, new series, new everything. We're going to try to keep the same cadence, 3 p.m. Central every other Friday, potentially. That could change. We will have our Twitter, so twitter.com/warpworld. Give us a follow to get all the latest updates on everything we're doing. And that will help you keep track. We will have a domain next week, techtalk.warp.world, that will just kind of host this video and the slides. We will provide the slides separately, along with a video of this on YouTube for you to download and watch. Potentially a blog post if I have time to do it in the next 3 days. Otherwise, I'll make somebody else make a blog post. But regardless, we do hope to continue to do these. And if you have any ideas on topics you'd like to have us cover, even if it's not necessarily Warp World service, but something technical on Twitch, definitely open to chatting about that. You can email us techtalk@warp.world. But I think this is really a lot of fun, and we hope to include a lot more team members at Warp World. It won't always be us three. Sometimes I might not even be on it, if you can imagine that. But you guys are I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for joining Grand Pooh Bear and Xwater. Or yeah, that's who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This was really cool. I think our first tech talk went smoothly. I'm excited to see what we do for the next one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really liked the Q&A part at the end. I think that was really smooth. Yeah,
that was fun.
This was fun.
Oh my god, I like how this was both a infomercial / product reveal right here / stress tests for three different things we're doing, honestly.
Channeling my Steve Jobs. And don't forget, like, if you do want to see more of myself, Grand Pooh Bear, and Xwater, we have podcast.warp.world. We've been doing 178 episodes, something crazy.
188.
Oh, wow. Well, I think I was in 10 of them, and like on average, we all missed 10. So my math is right.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out. There's no better way to get more information about who we are and what we do than through the podcast and these talks right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Until the next tech talk, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Yeah.